welcome to This is the Best Podcast, a podcast where we discuss all things that are the best. My name is Nick. Joining me, as always, is my bestie and besting Dan.
What's going on, Nick? You look kind of festive. You got like a Hawaiian shirt thing going on.
I am so festive right now. This is the most breezy shirt I bought this shirt about 3 weeks ago. It was on sale at the Hawaiian section. I've been wearing it ever since. I love these kind of shirts.
I don't think I've ever been in a store that has a Hawaiian section.
Come with me, my friend. It's called the 99-cent store.
Okay.
Aloha. Let's go.
And we have a third guest joining us today, James. Hello, James.
Hello, Nick. And
How you
hello,
doing?
Dan.
Yes.
Thanks for having
Hello,
me, guys.
James.
I feel better already. I'm sure to feel the best when this is over, but
As
I'm
you
very
should.
excited to be a part of it.
You
Now,
definitely
James,
will.
you and Dan know each other, right? You guys are friends.
Yeah. We've
Bitter enemies, one of the two.
no, not even close to being frenemies. This is like a younger brother, a sibling, separated at birth sort of relationship. And I've been fortunate to know Dan and his older brothers, gosh, since 80s.
Yeah,
Before
yeah.
the turn of the century.
Yeah,
Jealous.
yeah.
No, I got like a handful of friends that I've known since like high school time. I have one friend that I've known since elementary school, but then we're
I
not
have one
like
of those.
we're not like hanging out friends. We're like friendly. Like we say hi
It's-
each other.
I don't even know if you were doing that intentionally, but you just said school like 3 times in that sentence, that run-on sentence that you were doing. You said school a
Mhm.
few times. That's very apropos for our episode tonight, isn't it?
Preach it, Dan. Preach it. What are we talking about?
We're
Amen,
talking
brother.
about the best fictitious school.
I am so excited about this episode because this was Dan's idea. And yeah, it was like, I'm like, okay, best fictitious school. I did like 5 minutes of research right after you told me that. And oh my God, the amount of schools that popped up. And I'm like, this is going to be an epic episode. There's so many to choose from.
It is a wide spectrum of educational influence in the, I guess, the fictitious realm, from superhero to enchanted to all sorts of fake schools.
It's
It's
Yeah,
true.
it's
It's
true. I
true.
mean, you could
They
pull
cover a lot
from
of ground.
literature. You could pull from literature, or
Literature. What is this literature you
children's
speak of?
shows. You name it, but you can't name the Top Gun school because, folks, that is a real school.
Yeah, it's just called the
Train
Air Force, right?
Fighter pilots. It's called the airport.
It's called the Air Force or something.
All right, no. Those are
Uh,
naval aviators, sir.
Yeah. So now we're not it doesn't matter age range. So just elementary school, college, high school, whatever it is, just school in general, right?
That is correct.
Okay.
That
Now, when I was just told fictitious school, so I wasn't given a barometer of, are we speaking of the grounds with which the kids attend, or an adult school, perhaps? Maybe when some of these romantic comedies happen at a cooking school, is that in the realm
I'm I'm
of?
I
oh,
say I don't like to censor people, so I say anything and everything. So long as it's a school and so long as it's fake, go for it. Listen to your heart, James.
Love it.
yeah,
Yeah,
I concur.
yeah. So should we just get started? I
Oh my
mean,
gosh.
I think so. Yeah, our little bit about where to find us and where to listen to us and all that shit. We'll just drop it in after.
we'll we'll add that in right after
Find
this.
it's on the Spotify,
Yeah,
as the older generations
yeah,
say.
Dan.
It's
We don't want to
the
slow down the
Spotify.
On
momentum.
the
Dan.
Spotify.
I'm
On
schooling you.
Spotify.
It's the Spotify.
There it is. Soundbite right there.
Okay, all right. Dan, you picked first last week. I'm gonna pick first this week.
Okay.
I am leading with the very first thing that popped in my head the second you told me this. It's a cartoon school, Springfield Elementary, from the show The
Ah!
Uh,
Simpsons. Uh,
Doo, doo,
I'll
doo,
be honest.
doo, doo,
I
doo,
wanted to
doo,
go
doo,
first
doo, doo,
specifically because I wanted to be the one
doo.
to pick this.
You're doing standards on the chalkboard, young man.
Yeah,
That's
exactly. Springfield Elementary, yeah, the amount that they've done with Springfield Elementary is so epic, and like the kind of do you guys remember probably one of my favorite Halloween episodes of The Simpsons too was, I think it was called Terror in the Cafeteria or something, when the teachers started to eat the
Oh
students.
yeah, that was awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Oh
Treehouse
man,
of Horror.
hilarious.
I believe that was 12. Treehouse of Horror 12. No, I don't know. I don't.
Yeah, I was like, wow, if you know that by heart, that's impressive, Jay. That's either
And
impressive
Kang
or
and
sad.
Kang and what's his name were up in outer space. Yes,
As
more
they
children.
do, as they do.
Yeah.
But yeah, Springfield Elementary, probably the elementary school when I mean, I watched The Simpsons when I was a kid, so it was one of my
So
absolute
you
favorite.
hold the
So
phone.
did everyone on the planet right now, Nick. The show's
True.
been on for 50 years.
Yeah, but we're talking about me right now. We're talking about my experience.
Wait, we got a fact checker on line one calling in.
Yeah, fact checker. Oh, sorry, it's only 33 years. My bad.
Yeah.
People- anything before the year 2000 does not exist
Yeah.
to the new generation.
Oh,
It's
that's
all on
true.
phone. But we'll talk about the schools first. Let's do that. Then
Yeah,
we'll talk
yeah.
about the kids who actually go to the schools right now.
That's funny because I always feel like everything after the year 2000 is just all one big year. Like I can't discern it. The 2010s are the same as they're all the same to me.
The
Like the 70s,
ones,
I know what the 70s looks like, I know what the 80s looks like, and I know what the 90s looks like. After that, it's all a blur. I
it's
have no idea.
all iPhones because everybody's looking at their phones
It's
and their personal
it's phones and
devices.
bleached tips and Crocs.
Nice,
That's
nice.
everything
The
after
Crocs.
2000.
Just think
All
of
right,
the
Dan.
just the wait, hold on. We're gonna just embrace the tangent. for a
Spiraling,
second here.
spiraling.
We're gonna embrace it because James, you were saying like everyone's looking at their phone, and just think of the silhouette of someone standing and looking down at their phone, and how rare that pose was in all the thousands of years leading up to an
I don't.
iPhone, a smartphone, right?
I
Or a
know.
smartphone. I know you don't want to just push one. They're all
I
just,
know. I know what you're getting
Oh.
at, but I don't think we've had similar poses before. I think like goth people when they used to smoke, it was like a similar. Instead of a phone, just think of a cigarette.
Okay.
Moping
Yeah,
about.
he's giving us visual aids in the non-visual
Yeah.
medium, but yeah, I get it. Or maybe looking at a
Listeners.
map, you know,
Or a
sitting
map.
there looking at
Or
a
a
map.
map. When was the last time you looked at a map?
I don't know. When was the last time you used
Google
MapQuest?
Maps.
Remember that?
Yeah,
Yeah, Google Maps all the time.
That's a future
All right.
episode right there. When's the last time
Waze.
the best thing you looked at last?
That's it. That's the next episode.
All right,
The
we'll
best
laugh at this and bring
maps.
it back in here.
Bring it back. Bring it back. All right. My
right,
my number one, Springfield Elementary. Dan, what do you got?
I love Nick's
Actually,
school.
let's go with James here. I'll go last.
James,
For-
you want to go?
Oh, wow. Hey, well, you cannot miss schools of any kind in paper or visual medium. And I'm just bringing the thunder right out of the gate. Hogwarts, mofos.
Yeah, Dan, it's
Hogwarts.
on my list.
I'm sorry. I as an adult, okay, first time I had removed myself from college, I geeked out on the Harry Potter books and I loved everything about this new school and the moving pictures and secret doors. And I was like, oh, if I was 11 going to school like this would be jam. Like I would leave. Could I give up the memory of meeting Dan though? I don't know. That's a tough trade. That would be a tough trade. You know,
I
all
never.
of a sudden there I was. It was just a little boy. It was like Oliver Twist and magic, all of that in Hogwarts with a great freaking headmaster.
Did you
And I just loved it.
did you read the book?
Hogwarts.
You read all the books?
I read the first three books as an adult in a month. And those were the only three that were out at the time.
Uh-huh.
And then when Goblet of Fire came out, I probably was like the kids. I would have read it in about 3 days, but I read it in about 5. I was an adult.
Slacker.
Work has to happen.
Did-
Total
is-
slacker.
is
Should have
the
called in sick.
description- Is the
What's that?
is the description of the school in the book this like do they mention in the book
It's
like the
better.
floating paintings
Oh
and
my
all that
gosh,
stuff?
it's rich.
Mhm.
You got to get into the text. If there's, I never understood it when my brothers, especially my older brother, would get upset about continuity between The Hobbit reading it and Lord of the Rings reading it versus the movies.
Hmm.
Um, but I get it. I get it now. Like there are just things that you can't put in the movie as much as they try. There's so much more in your head when you're reading it. You're like, oh wow, this would have been cool. Oh, they left that out. Well, they had to. They got to cut this stuff for time, like the show. Sorry, I'm rambling.
I
No, it's good. It's good.
I
Hogwarts
never
is rad salad, dude.
I never read any of the Harry Potter books. I saw the only Harry Potter movies I saw was the first one and the second to the last one. That was it.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, you're missing a bit.
I
You're
no,
missing a
I
bit. Like
figured I could kind of put the pieces together between the
Yeah,
first
so
one, the
basically
second,
the way
and the
you
last
see
one.
franchise movies, you do it like kind of like Cliff's Notes. You just watch the first one and the last one and just
right.
like,
Second
I
to the
can
last one.
extrapolate what happens in the.
Yeah,
Okay,
I
so
think I get what's going on here.
he wasn't a wizard before, but he's a wizard now. All right, I got that. All right, let's
He's
go. Go
older.
to the next
He's,
one.
he's
Okay.
older.
He's
So
older.
it took him a few years of
Yeah,
university.
so here's what we did. We've given him a bit of a lightning bolt scar on his head, and that's how we know he's a special
When
one.
people
All
start
right.
talking British, I know we got to move it along. All right, Dan, what's your number one?
All right, all
What's your
right.
first pick?
My first pick. I'll put this one first because I'm in the Bay Area currently, as we discussed last week, and just across the bay there in 2161, Starfleet Academy
Oh,
established.
Oh,
That's right. Ex Astris
nice.
Scientia, from the stars, knowledge. One of the most inclusive academies of all time. I mean, you got alien
is that
races, you got men, women, them, there. Everybody, everybody
is
can
that a
learn to
Star
be
is
a.
that a Star Trek thing?
That is a Star Trek thing. Thank you for catching
Okay,
up.
okay.
Yeah, Starfleet Academy. That's right.
Give
We're
it up.
Captain Kirkland.
Star Trek. Ooh,
Absolutely.
that's a good one.
That is a good one. I would have never thought of that, but that's a great one.
I
Yeah.
just want to say, ooh, that was a good one. That's it.
Very nice. Very nice. All right.
Okay.
So
Nobody saw it coming.
that's three.
All right.
We all have two more here before we
All
get
right,
to
my next pick. I'm gonna
Only
go.
two more. I gotta. Oh, jeez.
I'm gonna go Bayside High from Saved by the
Oh,
Bell.
knowing you, I
so
knew that was
good.
gonna
I
come
will
up.
take that off the list. Nick, wow, man.
This is why I
Good
go first,
job.
guys. This is why I go first. Bayside High. I used to actually not like the show Saved by the Bell when I was younger, when it was on TV, because I was actually more of a it was on at the same time as my Saturday morning cartoons. But as but as I
Understood.
began to notice girls, a young lady named Kelly Kapowski went to Bay High, Bayside, and I was like, well, if she goes there, I kind of want to go there.
The
And then also
Kapowski Wowski. I get it.
one of the girls from Bayside also went on to be in the movie Showgirls, which was also a big influence on me. So a lot of magic
Wait a
happening at
second here.
Bayside.
Hold
Jess
on.
was her name was Jess in Saved by the Bell. Is that correct?
I think she was Jessie. Yeah, she was Jessie. What was his
Jesse,
name?
yeah.
Elizabeth
Elizabeth Berkley.
Berkeley?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Berkeley.
Berkeley. Yeah. But Bayside High, and also looking back, man, how cool was freaking Zach? I would wish I could be like half as cool as Zach. He had a phone. He had a phone before even when it was still like the only place you can get a cell phone was at your Dan's space school.
Yeah.
Start-
Was it really big? Was it like one of those World War II?
Yeah,
like,
it was the old. It was like one of those '80s ones. He had it though. That was like not cheap for a high school kid.
Yeah, I always thought he was kind of a douche, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, you
I was
Oh,
Team
come
Slater,
on.
jealous.
man. Team
you were
Slater
just
all the way.
jealous.
Team Slater.
No, I
Really?
didn't like Team Slater because he was naturally athletic, and that was always like, ugh, you damn people with your cardio.
That's hilarious.
Screw you, Slater. Go wrestle
was-
some people.
I obviously was Screech. I was the comic
Yeah.
side relief. That was it. That was
Hey, Screech later went on to do a sex video, so he turned out okay.
he made his mark in porn before
did.
leaving this wonderful planet for
Didn't he
greener
do some
pastures.
pay-per-view like boxing and stuff too? At some
Oh
point?
yeah, he did that too.
So he was not exactly saved by the bell, is what you're saying.
You know what?
So
They should have thrown Screech and Showgirls. You know, they really should have brought him in there. But okay, all right.
That's
That's
we
my
miss
number two.
him.
That's my number
Miss
two.
him. Rest in
Bayside.
peace. Dustin died.
R.I.P. Dustin Diamond. James, what's your number
Is it
two?
my turn? Oh my
It's your
gosh.
turn.
This is tough. And I gotta go old school on this one. And even though I have, gosh, it's so hard. Stupid, worthless, no good, goddamn freeloading son of a bitch, big mouth, know it all, asshole jerk. You forgot ugly, lazy, and disrespectful. Shut up, bitch. Don't make me a turkey pot pie. Forgive me for cussing, but I went right into the epic monologue by John Bender at the detention high school from the Breakfast Club. Ladies
Oh
and
yeah.
gentlemen, you will find no greater principal in the world than Paul Gleason on that epic journey we all took. As Dan said, what Star Trek did for the universe and training people for space travel, the Breakfast Club did for emotional intelligence, and it's been overlooked for 40 frickin' years. We're coming up on an anniversary, and the Breakfast Club defined a generation, and that school was amazing. Who doesn't want to crawl in the rafters, fall down into the library, still have it be big enough that you could smoke a doobie and not have anybody smell it, and a janitor that has 2 stories to clean, including a sound booth. Ladies and gentlemen, 1986, 87, that was singularly the greatest high school ever. I'll never forget it. It obviously left an impression on me, and I think it will on you too. Let's hear it.
Yeah,
I
you weren't the only you weren't it's 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 funny because it's like I was struggling
Sorry
with.
for the cussing. Sorry for the cussing. Sorry.
No, it's totally fine. This is not
can't
made for
leave that
kids.
out.
But I was gonna put it on my list, and strangely enough, something that made it onto my honorable mention, and the cat's gonna come out of the bag because I just kind of started watching a couple episodes of it this evening. Is the show Community, and
Oh, good one. Good
in
school.
in the very
Counts.
first in the very first episode, there are so many Breakfast Club references and mentions in their first episode of that entire series. What are they
Yes,
talking about? They're talking about Breakfast Club. So there
absolutely.
you go. And also in the show, little show I worked on, Troll Hunters, there is an episode called The Reckless Club. And yeah, while the characters are in detention, they do all sorts of crazy stuff. Another homage to Breakfast Club.
Who was who was like the goth chick or the odd chick in that movie? I
Ali
know there was
Sheedy.
Ali
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 Sheedy.
Sheedy,
Sheedy.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Were you more of a Ali Sheedy guy or a Molly Ringworm girl?
Molly Ringwald. That's hilarious.
Whatever.
This comes down, this is almost like the Ginger versus Marianne. And for me, back in 1986, 87, Ali Sheedy, after she got cleaned up, was like my jam,
Mhm.
totally.
I kind of.
But I married a combination of the two. My wife, I'm a very marry out of your league, gentlemen.
Oh,
Shoot for the moon, and you end
Yeah.
up among the
I'll
stars.
write
Right
that
on.
Outkick the
down.
coverage.
Yeah,
Outkick the coverage there.
Yeah.
yeah,
See, that's
definitely
my
my.
problem. I kind of preferred Ali Sheedy, but kind of messed up. But I always like my ladies a little bit off, like smeared lipstick, half a bra hanging out. That's always been my
Oh,
type.
nice. Hello. Yeah, right on.
Trip for no reason.
Yeah, no, I tend to agree. A little less maintenance
Gotcha.
there with Ali Sheedy. Yeah, sure. Yeah, that's a great pick. I think you're probably gonna have to take that one in the final round. That's pretty
Oh,
darn good.
all right. Thanks. Yeah, yeah.
I'm
What do you
gonna
got
go
there,
on
El Dano?
my second one. We're going with some superheroes here, but maybe not the
Ooh,
school you might be thinking of.
is it
This
the one?
school is perpetually floating in the air. This is Sky High.
Hi, Sky
That's
High.
right.
Knew it.
Sky High.
Oh,
The school
anything
for
with Kurt Russell.
superheroes.
Come on.
Yeah, Nick is making a face like he doesn't know what we're talking about here. Have you
I
not
remember.
dude.
seen Sky
Okay,
High?
I
It's
remember there
cool.
was a movie called Sky High, and I remember Kurt Russell was in it, and Kurt Russell is the man, so I'll give him that.
Yeah, the
But I
commander.
didn't.
Like
I
he's like
didn't.
the best superhero, whatever. But it's all about the school, man. I mean, come on, their school bus picks them up. Once everyone's aboard, bam, that school bus flies up into the clouds where this floating high school is.
I did consider the Great Space Coaster, so I just want you to know.
Nice, nice. With the classic gym coach played by Bruce Campbell, Boomer. And
Rumor.
one
I'm
of
here
the
to
most
chew bubblegum and kick ass.
fantastic scenes of him.
I'm all out
Once
of
the
bubblegum.
freshmen show up, they kind of have to in gym class show off what their powers is or powers are, and then at that point, almost like in Hogwarts, they're sorted, but they're sorted into the hero track or
Yeah.
sidekick,
Kick.
which no one wants to be called a sidekick because
Oh
No
it's kind
one
of
wants
like
to.
you instantly become a loser.
Oh my gosh, it's
in
so
the
it's so
school.
fun.
It's so clicky. But
Now, Dan, do you want
I
to?
kind of want to watch
Is
this
there
now.
anything? Hold on, Dan. This is like politics, though. This is like politics, and we need to divulge some small faction of information. Is there anything you would like to share with Nick about why you know so much about this movie personally?
Dan, are you Kurt Russell?
I am Kurt
He's not
Russell.
Kurt Russell.
I'm Kurt Russell's illegitimate son. No.
Working in your industry, are you familiar with anybody who may have worked on this particular
Yeah, I
item?
believe my brother Brian boarded on this fine
It
film.
was awesome. He did awesome stuff. So yeah, we're gonna pump the film, dude. All
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I think that was actually Brian's first live
Live
action
action.
storyboarding gig.
I kind of want to watch this movie now because I'm a huge Bruce Campbell fan. Actually, we could. That's a listen to itself, Dan. Best Bruce Campbell anything outside of the.
Oh my God.
Dan, you went Sky High. Okay, my number 3 pick, man. I like all 3 of mine. Okay, I'm gonna do Sunnydale High from Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Ooh, Zinger.
Oh,
I have a very
Didn't see
special
it
place in my heart
coming.
for
Didn't
Sunny,
see that
for
coming,
Buffy.
Nick. Tell me more.
I didn't watch the first couple seasons of Buffy, but then I got into it late in the game, and then I became obsessed with that show, and it was like my soap opera when I was younger. And it's all Sunnydale, great name for a school. The apparently the school was on it was like on the precipice of, they called it the hell mouth, so all the monsters and stuff that came, I guess, out of hell went through the school. It's a very dangerous place
Yes.
to learn math.
it's a very unfortunate place to
Yeah.
put a school. Yeah.
Yeah, very, very unfortunate, bad placement. I believe the series finale, they drove a school bus into the Hellmouth and just killed a bunch of demons. They drove into it with the school bus, and I think they killed some demons or something. I don't know. That show ended way too late. They should have ended it. Or, it kind of meandered all along for a while. But yeah, that's my third pick.
I
Sunnydale
like
High.
that. I
Buffy
like
the
that.
Vampire Slayer.
Man, you guys have done the superheroes, and I'm just
Buffy was a
this is it.
superhero.
Yeah. And then we've done the undead, the supernatural. But there's one so hard because I have daughters, right? So they're 6 and they're 9. And the school that I'm going to name is the third choice. But the schools they get to watch in their preschool shows now are awesome. They're
Okay.
awesome. But you guys don't know them, and the audience, I don't think that it will resonate with them the same. Like when I say Netflix Super Monsters, which is a school sort of like Buffy, except it's preschool for all the monsters, vampire, werewolf, witches, to develop their powers, and then they find their forever friends, which are adorable. That's kid stuff like Muppet Babies, but for monsters. So
That's fun.
that's sort of like right. It's rad, and so I because my girls love Matilda and that I want to name that, except for the fact that my third choice has to be Rydell High School. There's no way I can turn my back
You went
on
in like
Sandy. Yeah.
you went in
Are you
different
kidding? Olivia
directions there.
Newton-John
It's like,
and John Travolta, Rydell High School, Grease. Grease Lightning. Wow.
are there
I am not turning my back on that. So it was a long preamble to sort of sneak in the Super Monsters mention, because if you have kids, you should watch it. It's awesome. But Grease, original Johnny, oh, Sandy, and Olivia Newton-John. Grease is Grease is the word. It
were
is
there
the
monsters
word.
at Rydell High? My God.
Oh,
It was
yeah, there
such a
were
Yeah,
long way.
beasts.
It was
yeah, there
such a
were
long
there were
way
beasts
around to
because
just say Rydell High.
Right,
a
Rydell High
lot
School.
a
Grease.
lot of those high school students in Greece, man, were like 35, 40 years old when they filmed
30
that,
if they're
man.
lucky. They were
Like
50.
you had dudes like losing their hair,
There
hairy
was
backs.
Go Grease
do you
Lightning, I'm
remember the
gonna slip
dude?
my hip. Go Grease Lightning.
Do you remember the dude? It was like the scene when the school's having the dance, and like he walks past the principal or something, and he takes the flask out. He takes a hit off it. I'm like, that man is like, he's older. He looks older than the principal. They need to make movies like that anymore. Stop hiring like people
Everything,
in their
it's always
20s to
real.
be
It's
teenagers.
always real. And all the
No, hire
breakdowns, it's
people in their
we need to
50s to
reel
be
this.
teenagers.
Yeah, what was
That was on my list, by the way. Rydell High.
oh, I'm glad. That's excellent.
Yeah, I
Let's
was
hear it, Dan.
never really a fan of the Grease.
Of the
Sorry,
Grease, the
sorry to
Don't
musicals?
say.
like
No.
music, Dan.
Send it, leave your comments of hate in the comment section for me,
If
and not
if
not
Grease
liking.
had the soundtrack to a Kiss album, Dan would have been into it.
I probably would be. You're
That would have
probably
been right.
correct. All
Dan,
right,
what's your third
so
choice?
Don't
so
think I
yeah,
didn't think about
yeah. So rounding out,
School of Rock.
I always kind of secretly wanted to or fantasized about going to like a prep school or like a boarding school, like away from home.
Hmm.
Um,
Dead Poets Society.
not quite, but even stuff like that it always catches my fancy a little bit. Just I've got a soft spot for those fictional institutions, but this one especially, none other than Rushmore Academy.
Oh, nice,
Oh,
nice,
yeah.
nice.
Because looking at that school and what Max Fisher was able to do with all of his extracurriculars and clubs that the school would allow him to do is fantastic, because that school clearly embraces the ingenuity and the creativity of its students. I mean, just look at that final play he puts on. The theater budget of that thing is crazy. You remember that replica Huey helicopter that crashes in the stage? They got real like AK-47 props. There's
Yes.
pyrotechnic.
That was
I do love the
I don't think
elaborate
you should do that in
school
schools anymore.
plays and the school plays and movies on here are like, wow, this is a hell of a budget they gave
Yeah,
these
Yeah,
teenagers.
so much better than my high school ever did. Although
Yeah.
San Diego High pulled off some good stuff, though. I mean, they
Yeah.
did.
My high school didn't have paper mache rocks. They just said pretend there's a rock there. Use your imagination.
But yeah, absolutely. Great movie, great fictional school. One thing I did not realize, that it's based in Houston fictionally. And I'm like,
Hmm.
nothing about that movie ever said Houston or Texas to me.
Hmm.
So that's just a very
Yeah.
strange fact that I learned while looking up some information.
It's been a many years since I've seen that movie, and I
The
saw
more
it
you know.
before I could understand what was going on. I got to rewatch it. All I remember is somebody was wearing a beret, so I knew something with the metaphor was going on. That's usually that's my barometer. Oh, he's got a beret. Somebody's saying something.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny. So that was 9 of the best.
Yeah, we got.
Right.
our
I know
three.
you guys probably have some honorable mentions that we didn't quite
Oh my
make
gosh,
your
yes.
3.
Fast
All
Times
right.
Ridgemont High.
That was on my
High.
honorable
Yeah.
mentions. I also got West Beverly Hills High School from Beverly Hills
Of
90210.
course, yeah, that was on there.
as well
definitely.
as South Park Elementary.
South Park
Wah
Elementary is
wah
there.
wah
Mhm.
wah 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 for Charlie Brown. That
I
was one
was
of the.
really surprised that no one went Xavier Institute for Higher Learning or
I thought,
I
yeah, I thought somebody's gonna go with that.
I had mentioned that in the pregame to Dan, ha, to throw him off the trail of these other fortuitous choices. But I had called it the Xavier School for the Gifted and Sexually Challenged. So when I sent it to him in
yes, yeah, yeah,
text,
yeah.
That's
I think is a more
that
apt
school's.
name for it
and
though.
that's really the most apt name for it. Like just again, what is lacking from each and every one of these schools throughout history of our is the teaching and the nurturing of emotional intelligence. It is something I for school I had to do a paper on it, and we did not actually acknowledge it until uh, like the year 2000, right? Goldman writes it in 1995. It becomes a thing, and now people are saying, "Hey, we should actually pay attention." And emotional intelligence isn't just saying, it's your feelings are smart. It's how we manage and develop them. And Dan will tell you, I'm a bit of a spaz, but when you learn to harness them and channel that energy in productive ways, that is what emotional intelligence is. Even the movie Anger Management, which we love, we get Jack Nicholson, Sandler doing what he does, but at the core of it is the management, personally and socially, so that stuff like the heinous police brutalities or people's responses that make people incite moments hopefully become fewer and fewer because we become more emotionally conscious.
You know what I was
That's
thinking?
what's missing from all of these schools.
You know what I was thinking about the
Right,
Xavier
that's right.
School? It
Sorry,
was
shake it out.
like, what an odd school, because this is something that always bothered me. It's like, all right, it's like a high school that also a jet flew out of it.
Yes.
And like the kids never really spoke about that. I'm like, Steve, did you, when we were playing basketball yesterday, did you notice like the volleyball courts moved and a jet flew out of that? Like, no, I didn't see that. I'm like, you were right there, dude. It's a jet. It's hard to miss.
I
Like,
was studying
I
for
can
my
hear a
test.
helicopter 4 miles away. You didn't see the jet?
It's stealth, dude. It's
I
just
guess
stealth.
it was stealth. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyways, these are all good picks.
Oh wait, I
Before,
had one more honorable mention.
Yeah.
what
One
is
more
it? What is it?
honorable mention. Obviously, Clear Eyes, Full Hearts Can't Lose. Got to give it up for the Dillon Panthers.
Who are they?
Uh,
Friday Night Lights.
Friday Night
Oh, I
Lights.
thought it was under the space school.
No,
Uh,
no, just
the
one space school per episode.
Just the one space
Now
school.
three schools that I did not mention. One of them you mentioned, honorable mention already, was Beverly Hills High. Yes, because that's real. San Dimas High School, Bill and Ted. All right, San
San
Dimas High School.
Dimas.
That's real. It's a real school. And then the real school for fame
Oh,
was
sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
like I would love to would have loved to have gone to the School for the Performing Arts in New York, which was the foundation for the TV show Fame. Amazing instructors
All right. Now that we got our best, before we can figure out which one's the best, gentlemen,
there.
we got to
Fame.
figure out the worst.
Ooh,
What is the worst high school? I'll start with this one.
Oh, worst school.
Worst school. This school's pretty rough. High school's rough in general, but when one of the students is telekinetic and can slaughter most of the high school class, that's a rough place to be. I'm talking about Bates High from the movie Carrie.
yeah, I'd say that's a pretty bad one.
It's a rough one. That was a rough one.
Yeah, but what really drove Carrie to this behavior?
Well, they were all
I
jerks.
think it was a lack
Yeah,
of emotional
emotional
intelligence
No one's
intelligence.
defending Danny Zuko in that
and a
school.
lot of freaking
Teasing,
a lot of
huh?
douchebags, a lot of dicks in
Uh,
that school, that high school.
yeah.
Yep. Push a poor
Um,
young lady to the edge.
I know, but
yeah.
I'm just saying John Travolta had parents on there. They're all like, "So your son was strangled by." Now let me get this straight. The fire hose flew out of the wall and constricted him much like a snake with mind powers. That's how he died. That's how my child died. Like,
Oof,
yeah, but he was a dick, so
rough.
deal with it.
Had it coming.
He had it coming. He had it coming. He'll be all
How
right.
about that?
He's gonna go to Rydell High
How about
soon,
that? How about
anyways.
that?
That's a good one. That's a good one. James, you got a
That's
word?
fine.
Matilda, the trench bowls,
Oh yeah.
uh, the chokey, that little room.
Whoa.
If Matilda doesn't come and save them, that is by far the worst school that
What school? Did
kid
that
could
school
go
have a
to.
name?
It does, and I would have to look it up here. I just remember it as
Okay,
the
we'll call
Matilda
it.
off.
We'll
I,
call
I
it
remember the
Matilda High.
chokey with all the spikes in the room.
Yeah, yeah.
It's pretty
We'll
bad.
call it Xavier's School for Danny DeVito's children.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness.
All
Oh
right.
my goodness.
She's
All
pretty
right,
bad.
my worst is the Rachel and Leah Re-Education Center. This is where handmaids go to learn how to be handmaids
Space.
in the
Inmates.
Handmaid's Tale.
That sounds
Uh,
pretty good.
we're talking about, man, you break the rules, you might lose your fucking hand. You might have your eyes gouged out, maybe just one the first time. And there's always the tongue removal if you're too
Ooh.
snippy. See
Dan,
what I did there?
you should have stuck with the space theme.
Yeah, I went
And
dark there. But hey, the thing is worst. Worst
you should have.
school
If
that
I was
qualifies.
Like
if I was going with the space school, and since you picked Star Trek, I would have went with the school
Starship
the Empire
Troopers.
uses to teach like the people that work on like the 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 Death Stars and stuff.
The,
They
the
gotta. I
TIE
mean, they gotta
fighter
train them
mechanics,
somewhere.
TIE fighter mechanic school.
Yeah, they gotta go to like Empire Trade School.
Rough gig.
Well, they
Rough
don't
gig.
teach them how to shoot. I know that much.
I know, but there's good benefits. My God, everybody had great teeth, good dental. Okay,
Upside of those
that's the
things.
worst. We figured out the worst. Gentlemen, what are we leading with our best? I'm going to go first, and I'm going leading with Springfield Elementary School.
That is solid. That is solid. I think spiritually, I want it to be Breakfast Club, but I know that historically Hogwarts is the coolest school ever. So I've got to stick with Hogwarts. It was my number one, and I'm sticking with it.
Yeah, it'd be weird if Hogwarts wasn't a contender on this one.
Yeah, it's kind of
Dan?
got to be. Dumbledore would bring the thunder down.
Oh yeah. Dan, what do you got?
Yeah, Dan,
Okay.
you can have my axe.
I'm actually gonna go Rushmore Academy here and not Starfleet.
Whoa.
Whoa!
Because
Didn't see
there's
that
not a
coming.
lot. I mean,
You're throwing the game.
how
Dan.
many movies or television shows actually take place in the Academy life? You know what I mean? How often have we actually seen Starfleet Academy?
Switch it up. Just go with Taps instead. Did you remember Taps? Tom
I
Cruise first
do.
movie.
Yeah.
That's a good school. Same thing.
That's a worst school candidate right there.
Yeah, no, they brought real helicopters and they brought real guns, just the way your play did in Rushmore.
Yeah.
So just go with Taps. It was Tom Cruise. You can't lose with Tom Cruise.
I'm gonna say, Dan, lead
Rushmore,
with
man. It all comes down to dice rolls.
Yeah.
All right,
We're
dice
gonna go
roll.
with Rushmore, but at the high school in Rushmore, they do teach the Kobayashi Maru. I do know that much.
All right, fair enough.
All
Correct.
right. So we're leading. We got Springfield, Hogwarts, and Beret School. I'll lead first. I got my die.
Here it is.
All right. Come on, Springfield.
Still
Come
rolling
on,
dice,
Springfield.
right?
10. All right.
Oh, that's
Finally.
strong.
Strong lead.
Very strong.
Very strong.
All right, so
All right.
you've got the die of destiny, Nick. So you're gonna roll for all three of us. So
Okay. All right. James,
go.
rolling for you right now.
Rolling for Hogwarts.
Come on, Hogwarts.
Yeah, show some passion the way
Lose
you
to
did.
Springfield.
Let me see that shoulder shake. There we go.
Yeah,
There we go. There it is.
2.
Ooh, that's okay.
Oh,
My magic turns it into a 12, love.
It's a respectable 2. It's a respectable 2. Dan, we're going with
Yep.
the Rushmore Beret
Rushmore,
School.
let's go. Let's go. Let's
Obviously,
go.
Boys.
Springfield is going to win. They predict everything.
Come on, come on.
Everything comes out of Springfield.
3. Respectable
Oh,
3.
whoa.
Wow.
Springfield Elementary takes it. I finally win one of these things. Oh,
It was destined to happen.
Oh,
It's gonna
finally.
be in an
Really, like
episode.
in season 2, he's basically winning like every other time. He's just so hurt from the first season that
The whole first season I did nothing but
he's
lose.
Oh no.
traumatized.
I think I
As
won
you've
best
shown
Disney
though,
ride, and then I just went on all onslaught on losing.
it's all just a roll of the die. Don't
It
you
really is.
worry.
It really is. What a fun episode! I think we definitely got to revisit this in a later episode because there's so many other schools that we can just cover. I mean, my God.
You have just started to scratch the surface. I mean,
Oh yeah.
even all of a sudden, I was, oh yeah, taps. There's
Yeah, right,
you've
right. And I mean,
all,
you mentioned Dead Poet Society, right? The school in that.
oh yeah. As
You
far
know,
as the school, and that is gorgeous, and all the ooh, sense of a woman. You want to go to that school? Jeez.
oh right, Freaks and Geeks, that high school. I mean, come on,
Oh yeah. That's a good one too.
tons of
I'm trying
stuff,
to
tons of
think.
stuff. Untapped.
Untapped. It's a big canvas.
It's a wide girth on that one.
Yes, and the rambling has
So
started.
so Springfield is officially the best fictional school. This has been the best podcast. My name's Nick.
This is Dan.
I'm James. Thanks for having me, fellas. It's been a delight.
This is the best podcast.